So what do we include on a resume? So we're just going to go through, what you're going to definitely have on a resume. And again, it's really dependent on what you've done and what you're currently doing. But but you definitely want to have your name and your contact information. That's an absolute. You definitely let them, again, your formal, your full formal name with your middle initial and your contact information. And your contact information should be an email and an email and a cell number, and you can include your physical address. You don't have to do that, but you can include your physical address. The reason why you don't have to include a physical address today is because, again, seconds. Okay, so let's just say they're looking at your resume and they see, you're from Winooski, Vermont. You're applying for a job in Austin, Texas. Are you real? They might think, they might ask themselves, are they really interested in this job, or they just apply, so you don't want to ever give somebody the indication that they might not be that interested in that first communique. So again, that's a reason where you might not want to put a physical address, but you certainly can. Objective is optional. Your objective is letting the employer know exactly what, the name of the position you're applying for. So again, if you are applying for a specific position, state that. If you're not, if you're just getting your resume ready, but you don't have any positions right now in mind, you don't have to include an objective. Summary of qualifications is another optional category that can start a resume, depending on, if you want to highlight any of your proficiencies, experiences that you have. So your education is definitely a section you're going to want to include, and that's where you're going to include your college, high school. So rule of thumb for your education. So you only include if you've received a degree. So if you're in college right now, you would include the name of the college. Let's say you were transferred, but you didn't obtain a degree. You don't include that. You only include what you're currently in presently, or what. So again, if you transfer, but only or maybe you had school 1 or 2 semesters but didn't get a degree, you don't put that. For high school, so you can put your high school. But for college students, that I mostly work with, when you're in college, everything from high school goes off your resume by the time you're by the end of your sophomore year. So you have a little bit of time while in college to keep your high school, but again, you just really want to focus on the most relevant, the most recent experiences that you have. So your education, and then your work experience. So you definitely want to highlight any of your work experience that you have currently or working, or what you've done in the past. Please don't ever not put a position. I've had so many students tell me, oh, Renee, I've worked in fast food, or I've worked in McDonald's, but I don't want to put that on my resume. And no, you put that on your resume, right? I mean, because first of all, it's a job, you've done it. I mean, hopefully you were there more than a week. I mean, you had, you were there a little bit, again, if you were at a job for a really small amount of time, I wouldn't put it on your resume, because it might be an indicator, well, they're going to quit in 3 weeks. So, and again, you have to be ready to talk about every single thing that you've listed on your resume. So, yeah. So, but again, don't undermine any positions you've had. Whether it's fast food, or maybe or maybe it's a position that you just feel isn't worthy or whatever. Please don't do that, and definitely include it, because every job requires skills and abilities. And honestly, I love seeing on a resume that somebody's that worked in fast food. When I'm working with students, because that tells me, right, so much. You can work with, in a fast-paced environment with sometimes not happy, friendly people, who you messed up their order and they're not happy and you've got to redo it. And again, you're part of a team. It's not a pleasant environment usually sometimes, but again, but you were able to do that. And that says something about you, right? Everything that we do says something about us. So make sure that please don't underestimate any positions that you've had. So all your work experiences, and again, your resume is chronological. So you're always going to list your most recent experience first, starting with the title, the name of the company, the organization, the city, the state, and then a description of what you did, what was your main responsibilities. Other sections, you're going to include volunteer experience. very important. If you volunteered anywhere, be sure and put that. It's really important. And I know, again, some students have said to me, I don't really think it's that important, but it is. You know, again, it depends on, you know, and again, your resume, I want you to think of your resume as, you know, your one page of real estate, and it's really one page. Again, get to the main things, leave everything else off, or include in your cover letter if needed, if it's important. So just, you know, it depends if you know, I don't know how, you know, but definitely if you have room, include some of your volunteer experiences. Definitely skills, any of your proficiencies, you want to make sure you list on your resume. So anything that you're skilled in or have or proficient, you want to make sure. So, you know, again, extensive customer service experience, maybe you're fluent in French, or maybe, you know, you're skilled in sign language, whatever it is, you want to make sure you list any of your special skills, and especially if they're related to that job that you're applying for. Okay. And again, if they are, then you're going to want to list those to the top. So again, you're going to, you know, again, tailor it the best you can. Definitely any awards that you've been a recipient of, make sure you include those. Again, that's something that makes you stand out right away. If you have a really high GPA, if you've been like student of the semester, maybe you were awarded staff of the month at your employment where you're employed. Maybe you've been recognized as a volunteer, whatever, but those all make, you know, those make you stand out in very good ways. So make sure you list any of your awards. Certifications, if you have any certifications, any special trainings, you want to make sure you list that on your resume, as long as they're current. Again, your resume is only what is currently current, you know, they're still, they haven't expired, what you've currently doing or have done. Any other activities that you're involved in. You know, I know, you know, if any club involvement, any other experiences that you have, extracurricular experiences you want to highlight. And if you had any specific roles, make sure you note that. So maybe if you were treasurer of the debate club or whatever, you want to make sure you know, you give a title if you had a specific title and weren't just a member of. Athletic experience, you know, again, if you have any athletic experience you want to highlight. And then interest is another, you know, a category. It's optional, but you certainly can include it. Again, you know, how looking at that, you know, thinking about that one page that you have, your one page that you really, you know, what are you going to have, what are you going to include that is going to be the best for that specific job is really how you have to think of every job you apply for.